Cool beans.
Thank you for being on the show, Marley.
Oh, absolute pleasure. Glad to be here.
It's always a pleasure doing any of the sessions with you.
Yeah.
I look forward to all of them. I guess we'll just jump straight in.
Cool.
This being the first of this format, I'm just going to see how it goes, basically. Have you always been a singer? Briefly, what has your journey as a musician encompassed to create such the great voice you have today?
Like, I don't know. I wouldn't say I've always been a singer. Like, if you're talking about singing as a professional, like the passion of the youthful, always singing as a child. Probably not. But definitely singing was just. Yeah, I feel like when I was younger, singing was just something that you did for fun because it's like they incorporate it into primary school and stuff. Singing.
And so
sessions.
You just found it fun and kept it up. Fair enough.
Yeah. No, it's just
You didn't ever get bullied for it or anything like that?
No. Well, I think that's really interesting because like when you're little, right, you have no, like you'll do anything, right? There's no no dignity. But then when you get older, it's like, oh, well, now I have to think about the things that I do because I'll be judged by society. So
how old were you when you started singing then? Like, were you a young kid, like 8 or 7?
Yeah, like I guess in primary school was when I started singing as like a professional primary school singer. But yeah, I guess that's because like, we sang lots through kindergarten and primary and all the rest, and at home as well.
Yeah, I think it's really important to have singing in that home environment. My mum has always said that it doesn't matter if you're a good singer or not, your child just needs to hear their parents sing. Because then they realise that it's not like a self-conscious thing to do. Because if you're a parent and you're like, no, I don't want to sing because I'm not very good, then your child is going to be like, oh, well, then maybe I should be self-conscious about my singing.
Exactly. But it would be really interesting, like, obviously my memory isn't amazing, but I wish in some ways I could work out what that turning point was when it was like suddenly singing became something that you'd be self-conscious about. But yeah,
for me it was probably when my voice broke. I would say like the first. Oh no, I remember in intermediate school I had this one concert that went really horribly, and it was in front of assembly. And I forgot the words, we played it in the wrong order, and I just said stop and got off stage, and I think that was the first time that I was properly embarrassed, and since then, I've been like, focusing on not doing that, basically. Anyway, you've come to be our sort of main male vocalist on Trelissick Studios, so how did that relationship form, and why have you and Jacob always gravitated towards each other since university?
I don't know. I guess like I think maybe like it helped that we were in the same music course throughout uni and we were friends. So like obviously it's easier to jam with someone you're friends with rather than someone you hate.
Did that friendship come from music or was there other common ground?
Yeah, I don't know. I think definitely like we were put in the same space together because we were doing the same music course. But I think we just became friends. And I guess maybe like work ethic. Like Jacob's very driven, and I like to think that I was very driven, and maybe have become less so now. But definitely, like at the time, we both had a really good work ethic, and wanted to like do music and perform music that was good. So I think maybe that's why we sort of gravitated. But Jacob's really good at getting people and putting them in a room together and being like, we're doing this. Definitely really good at initiating that stuff. So yeah, I'd say.
Well, where does the music fit into your life then? Is it something that you set goals for, or are you just going with the flow and enjoying what music you do make?
Like again, probably something that's changed over time. Like definitely early high school, or just throughout high school in general, and university, I'd say I definitely had goals that I was working towards, and things that I wanted to accomplish. But now it's sort of it's just something to do that's fun. And I guess, more sort of small scale projects, something that might take a week, and it's like, cool, that's done, rather than the massive mountain that you're climbing.
For sure, it's daunting.
Yeah.
When you think about it, and then I guess when you get to a stage in your life where you're like, well, I'm not sort of climbing that mountain. Is it like a weight off your shoulders?
Yeah, like I think I had really high expectations earlier for myself, like as a musician, wanting to be that successful, famous musician. And I think actually doing it and studying it through university, expectations are different than what you imagine. And I think being a musician, like it takes a lot of things. It takes a lot of drive and a lot of work, and commitment. But also there's like quite a high degree of marketing yourself as a musician. Like it's very much, you have to be very aware of what your persona is, or what that brand.
It's like yourself being a business.
Yeah, it's, which is exhausting. So I think I sort of adjusted what I wanted to be doing with music, because as I'm sure you realize, I don't really like marketing myself. And when you're like I think especially if you're a solo musician as well, it is very much you're just marketing yourself.
It's a lot, to be honest. I stopped sort of pushing myself as a solo musician because I was like, it's so much work, and to be honest, I listen to my heart, and what I enjoy the most from music is just playing it. It's not necessarily that I like my music or I want to be the person in the front. I just want to be there playing it. So I sort of like recalibrated, and I'm like, well, how can I be playing more often rather than... And so I decided to stop pushing myself and just start being, a session musician.
Yeah, and I think that's really healthy as well. Like, because you look at all these artists, and like the burnout is real for a lot, and I think you need to be really careful about looking after yourself, and if you sort of throw yourself into that space too much,
especially if you want longevity for your career.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, does your music taste influence the way that you sing? I'm always a bit bummed when I can't hit the high notes in my favourite hair metal songs, but it's just anatomy and kind of comes with the territory. Yeah, I'd say definitely the music I like influences how I sing, because you want to, you want the music you sing to reflect the music you like. And I feel that sort of high notes, because most of the, like, well, not most, but a lot of music I think is sort of that tenor range. Right?
Yeah, low baritone.
Low baritone.
Not ideal when you want to be singing high tenor songs. So definitely, definitely has an effect. I think how, like, when you come into that obstacle where all of the songs you want to sing are in that higher register, but you just literally can't sometimes, it does change the way you approach that. Obviously, changing the key of the song is the best solution, but like sometimes it's probably the ideal solution, but then it sounds different, right? I think that's always really tricky for me, singing a song that I like and having to put it down a key, because it doesn't sound the same. The progression is the same, but
Photograph by by Def Leppard. Really want to be able to sing that song, and I've tried like rearranging it in every which way possible, but if you put it down a fifth or up a fifth or whatever, it just sounds like a completely different song. All the licks are different and everything. I noticed though, I had that problem, like all of the songs that I wanted to sing were too high for me, especially when I was in high school. And then I started listening to John Mayer, and we're all John Mayer fans on the channel. Yeah,
sure.
And he sort of like opened me to like a world of music that is like pop music, but it wasn't like super high, like Bruno Mars, like insane, like high C's and D's and shit like that.
Yeah.
He was like pushing a G at like tops, you know, and so that kind of like opened my eyes to a lot of other ways to sing, I guess, with a band, because before I just sort of thought, if you're with a band, you just sing as hard and loud as you can. And it doesn't usually work out.
It depends on the type of music you're wanting to make, I guess.
Yeah, well, it does work, I guess.
Yeah. I think like it's always really nice to discover an artist or music where the vocal line is in my register. But I think like the cool thing about approaching a piece of music or a song that's outside your register is that you think creatively about how you want to do it, and like especially if you're covering a song, then that's when you can put your own spin on it, because you have to, because you can't sing because you can't actually sing the song itself. But falsetto for the win.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, that's why you get all those soft, low-down covers, you know?
Yeah.
On all those band cats. Do you remember the first time that you learned how to sing and strum at the same time? That was a day for me.
Primary school.
Really?
Probably. Yeah, well, I think because...
I was like 12.
Yeah, well, I guess like a difference was, when I picked up a guitar, it was it was deliberately to accompany me singing.
True.
Like I wasn't learning guitar to learn guitar. So I've always, the only reason I've played guitar has been because I wanted to accompany myself singing. So I started out doing both.
I've ever sung is because I want people to hear my guitar playing. So we're like the same side of, two sides of the same coin.
So I guess that's probably why it's just
cool.
Like definitely, the more complex guitar piece you're playing, the harder it is to sing over it. I think but I think it's interesting as well when you're covering like a band where they'll have a dedicated singer and a dedicated guitarist. So it's different if you're covering like singer-songwriter, they've already shown themselves to be able to do both, so you've got that to aim for. But if you're covering music from a band where they have a dedicated guitarist and a dedicated singer you're doing those quite separately, and then you try and do both, and if the guitar and melody lines are very complex, it's tough. It's tough.
One of my favorite sessions was when we instrumented your song Inside Out for drums, bass, and guitar. No, I did love that. What I loved about your songs is how well they stand on their own. So, do you have a process when you write, and how much does the instrumentation that you're working with affect the way that you write? I guess that flows on well from covering, right?
Yeah. I don't know. It depends on the song. I think generally I'll compose the music or the melody line first, and then the lyrics come later. Which is why some of the lyrics to my songs are just terrible, because they're simply to allow the music to exist. But I think it's easier.
I think there's something to be said though, like for simple lyrics to like really good music. A lot of really great songs, when I look up the words, I'm like, oh, this is actually really simple. Simple lyrics. It's the melody and the music that I really like. So,
no, that, and I'd agree. I think certainly for me, when I'm composing most of the stuff I do, it's about creating the music first, and the lyrics come later. I also think it's just really hard to put existing lyrics to music.
That's true.
Because like if you don't already have that melody in your head, then you.
And then when you're writing the words, do you do like a tonight.
No, absolutely. Like there's so many just little recordings on my phone of just be walking somewhere and it's like this melody's so nice, and you're just sort of like,
you have to put some syllables to it though, like,
yeah,
and they're not like quite words, but then sometimes words pop out.
But often, like, you know, I think like once you've got a melody and like you can get that first line, whether that's like the start of a verse or the first line of your chorus, then the song can write itself.
If you get a good hook, like I find if you get like a hook that sort of encompasses the song, like for a corny example being like, and that's why I love you, and then like you just write the song based off of that one line, like all the feelings you get from that hook, you know.
And it's kind of nice as well, because if you've got one line and it's quite ambiguous, and so then it's like it's just like a creative writing prompt. So you've got your one line, and then how do I build a story out of this around a melody that I've already got?
So what has been your favourite session to record, and why? And also vice versa, what's been the most challenging?
Favorite session, possibly Inside Out, but that's just the narcissist in me. But
no, I would be the same, to be honest.
But yeah, that's.
Did you like the way that it turned out?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
I love hearing other people, add things to the songs that I write.
Had you sort of instrumentated that song in your head already?
Yeah, kind of. But again, like I think generally what I kind of envision doesn't sound as good as what other people bring with their ideas. It's like if you're a terrible drummer, there's only so many
ideas you can come up with.
Same for any instrument. But so possibly Inside Out, but also State Line by The Dip was really good. I think because that was just. It was a song that was like closer to my register as well. So it was really nice to sing.
I think the whole band really vibed with that song. We really enjoyed playing it, and it came through on the recording and the video. And you dancing as well.
Now that you've brought that up, maybe it wasn't my favorite. But no, that was definitely a good one.
I secretly go back and listen to that one as well. So what was the most challenging one then?
Most challenging. I don't know. I think maybe all the way back, like one of the really early ones that we did, one of the Jamiroquai ones, Tallulah, I think. Just because it's really hard to sing. It's really high. And I just, like, it was just physically just really exhausting trying to sing that high.
How many takes did you do?
Lots. We did lots of takes. Actually, every Jamiroquai song. And maybe there's 2 that we've done. Both were just real hard because it's really high. And I think as well, maybe when we did that one, not having like a fold back was really tricky. Because if you can't hear yourself singing, it's just like it really does make a difference.
For sure.
And if you can't hear anything,
you
do the old, the classic singer-songwriter holding one ear, like. But genuinely, like it's just you can hear yourself better.
Exactly. No, I get it.
Which is why you do it. So maybe that one.
We recorded a session of Walk On By is it Dion Warwick? We really loved it. And then the singer was like, you guys didn't have a fold back there. And honestly, I don't like how it turned out. And we were like, okay, point taken. We should probably work on that in the future. I remember for one of the sessions that we did in my dad's garage, we ended up getting these 3.5 monitors and just plugging your voice into that so you had something to honestly, even if it's just like even if it's a bit quiet, like just something to hear back. It's so beneficial.
Absolutely. Singers need it.
For sure.
Maybe not the
guitarists think they do, but they don't. If you could talk to Marley from 10 years ago, what would you tell him?
I would say, what would I say? Practice more.
Really?
Yeah. Practice more. No, I'd probably say do more gigs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just, like I did lots and lots of gigs throughout high school, and then very few during uni, which is odd because you'd think you'd do more. But no, I just, didn't do a lot of gigs. And
I felt that as well. I feel like I had more opportunities to do gigs in high school, like quote unquote gigs.
Yeah.
But now I can sort of like lean on the pandemic to an extent, be like, oh, been there. But I don't know.
We've all been in lockdown.
Yeah.
It's been so hard.
I don't know if that's just me justifying it to myself or if it's the truth. So.
Both.
Yeah, probably both, to be honest. I haven't exactly been going out of my way to find gigs, but no, that's fair enough. I'll probably take that advice on board.
Yeah. Well, like Marley from 10 years ago had lots of time. Marley now, very little time.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So
when you're a kid, you have all the time, all the energy, none of the money.
Yeah.
When you're middle-aged, you have all the money, all the energy, none of the time.
Yeah.
And then when you're old, you have all the money, all the time, and none of the energy. So it's a lose situation. Anyway, let's do some quick fire.
Cool.
Ready?
No.
Okay. Top 3 artists, go.
Top 3 artists. Ben Howard, John Mayer, Jack Johnson.
Good choices. Jack Johnson.
Also Jeff Buckley, Arctic Monkeys, Half Moon Run, Amy Winehouse, Lauryn Hill. Is that 3?
That's 3. Alright, sweet. Top 3 venues in New Zealand.
Anywhere that's outside random flat parties. Not that I've ever done that, but like...
I've done that a couple times actually. It's fun as fuck. Like, they're the best.
Yeah. And controversially, libraries.
Really?
Yeah.
For what kind
gigs
of music?
Just random music. But
is it because you get bored of the music and you can go read a book?
Yeah, I guess so. Like if it's a bad choice and it doesn't work out, there's plenty of books around. But I don't know. I just like I've been to a few gigs that were in libraries and they were real cool.
Okay, sweet.
It's so strange.
I should keep that in mind.
Yeah.
We did a session in a bookshop actually.
Yeah.
Well,
libraries, bookshops.
Cool.
Yeah. They look cool.
Oh yeah. It's kind of like also doing like Dave Dobbin did a concert in a record shop. I guess, sort of same thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you could swap your talents to another instrument, what would it be?
Piano or violin.
Violin.
Yeah.
You like the sound of a good player on the violin.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do the practice because a bad player sounds bad.
Well, no, like violin's really hard, and also violins are really expensive as well.
Oh well, as far as like orchestral instruments go, you can get cheap violins, but they are shockingly bad, like really bad instruments, like way worse than cheap guitars.
Sorry, I wasn't like. I don't think they count as violins.
No, that's sort of twice.
Piano, because if you know piano, just everything.
Yeah.
And also just theory, it's just so much better. I feel like piano just lends itself to music theories so well. And also composing, it's so linear.
Exactly. And you can do so many different notes at once. Like you can have 10 different notes, theoretically. So I think, playing songs is nice on the piano.
But violin would be pretty cool. And actually saxophone.
I thought that was going to be the answer. I thought it would be saxophone, so when you said violin, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I'll
change my answer. Fiddle. Can I change my answer to saxophone?
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
I wanted to play saxophone when I was a kid. Yeah.
Oh yeah, fair enough. My sister picked up the saxophone, but Mum said she had to do 2 years of clarinet before she was allowed to play saxophone, so she fucking did it. She did
and then did saxophone.
Yeah. And then she doesn't play it.
Oh, that's kind of melancholy.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Why do you live in Wellington? It always rains.
I don't know. That's great. I've never really pondered that question. And why do I live in Wellington?
Good point. Okay, fair enough. Is your bed made right now?
Bed? Yeah.
Is it made?
Yeah. Always. Do you not make your bed?
I make it at about
every morning
9 p.m.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm like before I go and like blob on the couch and I can't be bothered making my bed before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Let's go make it.
No, always made.
Always made. Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh, something to live up to. What's the best music shop in town? There's only one.
Well, Music Planet.
Yeah.
Because for no reason other than
Hey, you've bought stuff from us.
Yeah.
And they lend us gear for the channel, so we love them.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of it, Marley.
Sweet.
I might just get the close sequence.
Yeah.
Just in case we
Sure
run
thing.
out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast, Marley. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah. No worries. Happy to be here.
We look forward to any time we see you play some music on the channel again.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, destroy the mic.
Okay,
Cool.
sweet.
Yeah, that would have been an unfortunate end to the interview.
Alrighty.